Hi, welcome back. This is Story Break, and I'm Mike Champagne, your host. Today's story is a lighthearted tale about the issue of opposites attracting. The name of the story is Life in Macy's Window. Is it true that opposites attract? How do opposites get together? How do they stay together? That's the problem that we're going to explore today. I hope that if you're joining us for the first time that you'll enjoy the story, and if you do, please subscribe so you know when the next story is ready. We release a new story every 3 weeks. And if you prefer to listen, you can follow us on Spotify or Apple. And now, Life in Macy's Window. Your frame! The young woman playfully pushed the quiet young man toward the ball rack. Oh, sorry. He'd been looking at her, watching her in small glances when she wasn't looking, but he hadn't actually talked to her. She was petite, pretty, and she had captured everyone's attention, at least the male half of the gathering, all evening. Jeffrey Metzger was by nature a quiet man. He had come to bowling night as a concession to himself to try to be more social. In truth, he had hardly spoken to anyone. He stumbled slightly as he approached the ball rack, located his ball, picked it up, and took his position at the head of the alley. Out of the corner of his eye, he could see the young woman watching him, and it made the hair stand up on the back of his neck. He tried to focus on the pins, but she was all he could think of as he glided the ball onto the alleyway. Slowly it curved. It curved again until it hit the gutter just before contacting any of the pins. He winced as he saw it drop into the gutter. "Oh, tough luck, handsome." Sorry, guys." Jeffrey walked slowly back to his place on the bench as the team captain disapprovingly recorded his frame. The young woman plumped herself down next to him on the bench and offered her hand. "Flora Delaney." Jeff Metzger." He took her hand gently, trying not to display his surprise by her sudden familiarity. "IT, right?" Yes, how did you know?" "HR. I run through most of the files. I have a good eye for faces, and I liked yours." She smiled frankly at him. Jeffrey Metzger wasn't used to such directness, and he couldn't help blushing. I guess I'm not much of an asset to the team." "Oh, we all stink, but it's fun." The others on the pickup team smiled or chuckled in agreement. "Anybody here gives you grief, just let me know. I'll cancel their 401. This last, she said loud enough for everyone to hear. We're all going out for beer and wings later. You coming?" "Oh, don't you drink?" She looked at him with a serious face. Well, sometimes, I guess." "Oh, good. This is sometimes, and you're coming." Are you going to unbutton that top button, or do I have to do it myself?" she asked coyly, smiling at him. "But my top button, he didn't quite know what to say." "I want to see if you have chest hair." She smiled frankly and laughed. What?" "Oh, just kidding. You need to relax. But if you do unbutton that top button, I'll buy you a beer." He smiled, and her challenging look gave him a flush of courage. "Well, suppose I undo 2 buttons." "Oh, you're no use to me drunk." She laughed out loud. It was a musical, infectious laugh, and he couldn't help but laugh with her. The beer and the wings happened. And the buttons happened, in fact. A lot of buttons happened. Jeffrey Metzger woke up Saturday morning completely in love. As he reached over in the bed, he realized Flora was no longer in it, and he panicked. Oh, what had he done wrong? It was all too fast, wasn't it? He let things get out of control, and now he was just yesterday's news for her. He got up dismally and walked out into his tiny living room to find the old French doors to the garden were open. She was still here. Flora was outside wearing only his shirt from the previous night and holding a cup of steaming coffee. "Flora?" He stepped out in his pajama bottoms, forgetting the little urban garden was surrounded by the windows of other apartments in other buildings. "Jeffrey, this is beautiful. You have your own garden, and it's just lovely. Shouldn't you put something on?" He looked around at the upper windows. She laughed that wonderful laugh. "Well, shouldn't you?" Jeffrey realized he was wearing only a pair of pajama bottoms and nothing else. He quickly ducked inside to his tiny bathroom and grabbed his robe, and he tore on it and scuttled back out to the garden. "Aren't you cold?" "Oh, I love spring. Besides, it's warm and the coffee's hot. I love your apartment and the garden. Oh, what a place for a party." It's small," was all I could think of to say. "You could have such a great little party here. It's perfect, and it's you. I mean, everything is perfect. Garden apartment in Brooklyn must cost a fortune." "Oh, no, no, not really. I found it on Craigslist. It was pretty much a ruin. Mrs. Nolan rented it to me for next to nothing because it was trashed by the previous tenants. Broken cupboards, trashed appliances, and the garden. It was a garbage dump. I agreed to do the repairs and help her out from time to time, and she gave me a deal on the rent. She's a nice old lady. Nosy, but I like her. This place, it's gorgeous. The flowers, and the little tree. Well, it took me about 2 months just to clear it out. So, you don't drink much. You have a solid IT job. You're a lousy bowler. You know how to fix things. Not to mention you have a garden apartment in Brooklyn. Great, but not a decisive factor. And you like to garden." She turned to him ceremoniously. "Yes." Jeffrey was confused by her look of expectation. Finally he said, Yes, what?" "Yes, I'll marry you." She smiled and sipped her coffee. Jeffrey found himself unable to breathe for a moment. "Oh, don't worry. You haven't asked me yet, but you will. I just wanted to take the anxiety out of it for you. Fair warning, I'm a people person. I'm what you call an extrovert, if you haven't guessed. No, I figured that out, I think." Jeffrey was still stunned. "Good. Well, when you're ready, I'm in." Well, I think you're very... I know. I think you're very, too. You, Jeffrey Metzger, are a rare man. You're cute, a little shy, and you're very sweet. You keep a clean apartment. You know how unusual that is? And you're not a player. If I hadn't come on to you last night, I have no doubt some other girl would have snagged you pretty quick. I wasn't going to let that happen. I know people. I love people. It's my job. You are the real deal, and I'm not going to walk away from a sure thing." And she didn't. There was a flurry of dates in rapid succession, most of which Jeffrey couldn't remember initiating. And within a month, Flora announced that she was moving in. He was so shocked when she announced it. The only word Jeffrey could utter was, but I know you haven't asked me yet, but you will. And it's not as though we don't know each other, is it? And we want to make sure we're really right for each other. I mean, I know we are, but I can tell you need a little time, and I know you love me." She looked at him in a way that prevented any doubt. Flora arrived with her own furniture, suitcases full of clothes, which she stuffed into the one-bedroom closet, and a rescue cat named Milton. Milton had decided at first sight that Jeffrey belonged to him. The cat sought him out any time he sat down and pounced up on his lap and digged his sharp little claws into Jeffrey's thigh. Most of Jeffrey's street-find furniture was back on the street, and Flora's IKEA treasures occupied every available corner. The apartment became a riot of colorful cushions and throws, and Flora's music seemed to play incessantly. Jeffrey knew he was deeply in love. He could feel it in his very bones, and for about a week he was deliriously happy. It was his birthday, July 17th. He hadn't told her, and he decided that he would do something special that night with Flora. Their schedules were different, so they arrived at home at different times. That gave him a chance to pick up a special bottle of wine, and he made reservations at the little pub around the corner. As he slipped his key into the lock, he sensed that something was wrong. Flora's music wasn't playing, and as he entered, the little apartment was pitch dark. Flora? Flora? Suddenly, the lights went on, and there was a thunderous surprise. Music blared up, and he was surrounded by a dozen people he didn't know, led by Flora, laughing and cheering. He suddenly vowed he couldn't breathe. Jeffrey? Jeffrey, are you all right? Flora grabbed his arm, and the crowd was quickly silenced by his struggle for air. Bag, someone shouted. Somebody, give him a bag. A brightly colored party bag was quickly produced and shoved into Jeffrey's face, and he was firmly instructed to breathe into it. After a few minutes, the black spots that had formed in front of his eyes disappeared, and the concerned looks on the strangers' faces turned into expressions of relief and celebration. The music resumed, and Flora's revelers thoroughly enjoyed themselves. In the morning, Jeffrey woke early and staggered out to the little garden and sat among the party litter and trampled plants while he quietly sipped his coffee. Milton hopped up and promptly dug his claws into Jeffrey's leg. In spite of that, it was blissfully still, and he savored the moment while he surveyed the repairs he would have to make on his sanctuary. Well, you're up early for a party, boy. Flora glided over to him and put her arms around his shoulders and kissed his forehead. Did you have fun last night? She pulled away and looked earnestly at him. Oh, yes, fun! Who are those people? From work. Colleagues. People you should know. Aren't they fun? Oh, they loved celebrating your birthday. We have got to get you out there more. More? It was a note of dismay that he tried to cover with a game smile. Next weekend, she said with deadly certainty. Next weekend? Camping. I arranged it last night with Roger Lundquist. Roger Lundquist. From accounting. He's the one who gave you the bag. We're going with him and 3 other couples to the Adirondacks for a long weekend of camping and hiking. You're going to love it. It wasn't the worst case of poison ivy the emergency treatment clinic had seen that season. Jeffrey's left eye was swollen shut, and his hands had developed a blistering rash. He was to take oatmeal baths and apply liberal amounts of calamine. They assured him it would subside after 3 or 4 weeks. Roger is so sorry, Jeffrey. They all were. Now, isn't it funny that none of us were affected? I mean, we all hiked the same trails. Funny, huh? Well, Jeffrey tried to smile, his other eye would shut. Well, I'm going to make it up to you just as soon as your eye opens. We're going out to the Bombay Palace for an authentic Indian dinner with all the trimmings. We're going with Doris Snyder and her roommate, Mohandas Banerjee. He's the one who suggested the Bombay Palace. Mohandas Banerjee. Don't you love that name? He's from Mumbai, very sophisticated, a real gourmand. Isn't that exciting? Several days after the meal at Bombay Palace, Geoffrey was able to feel his tongue again. And while he was still deeply in love with Flora, he began to wonder if he would survive the relationship. The rash was nearly gone from his hands, so he at least could work without cotton gloves, and he was happy to see the end of these oatmeal-sodden baths, but how could he tell her? Living with Flora was beginning to feel like living in Macy's window. Life was an endless parade of new people and strange experiences. There was never a dull moment. And oh, how he longed for a dull moment. "I'm so proud of you, Geoffrey." Flora was ladling out a tuna casserole that she had struggled to make. It looked awful, but Geoffrey knew she was trying to please him by cooking dinner. "The way you've come out of your shell." My shell? Geoffrey watched as the cascade of tuna glop splattered onto his plate. "You know, the buttoned-up, bottled-up IT guy who didn't talk to anyone. Turns out that you have a wonderful understated charm. You're a great listener. Everybody loves you. Makes me a little jealous." She smiled at him as she sat at the table with him. "Yeah, they do? Well, they've all said it. And you're such a good sport, you'll try anything. I am sorry about the Bombay Palace. Mohandas didn't warn me about the spice." "Oh, it's okay. My sense of taste is beginning to come back. Flora." "Yes, sweetie." She had given up on her fork and picked up a spoon for the casserole. He looked at her sweet, expectant expression, and he panicked. What was he going to say? He had to think of something to save both his sanity and his relationship with Flora, but what? He ransacked his mind for some haven, some activity that would provide him with an excuse to escape the parade of people and events that now seemed to constantly march through his once quiet life. His mind drifted to his bike, sitting unused under the stoop. He had bought it thinking of trying to ride to work from time to time. How do you feel about biking?" "Biking? You mean riding around on a bike?" "Well, yes, that's biking." He watched her closely. "Well, it's so isolating. You can't have a decent conversation on a bicycle, not to mention how dangerous it can be." "Oh, no, that's not me, Geoffrey. I don't want to ride New York streets on a bicycle." "Why do you ask?" "Well, I've been thinking, getting a little soft, and I think riding would be good exercise for me. I wouldn't expect you to do it. It's mainly for me to get in shape." He sat carefully watching her response. "Oh, boy, it's for your health. I don't see why riding in the park now and then." Oh, he had it. The perfect way to find time to himself, but the now and then part of her response wouldn't do. "Well, no, actually, I was thinking of the 600-mile challenge. That sounded good," he thought. 600-mile challenge? Isn't that a little extreme? Oh, I'd have to train, of course. This tack was increasingly promising. "What's it for?" She suddenly seemed serious. "For?" He hadn't thought of that. "Well, what charity? What's the cause?" "Oh, war orphans. It's for the relief of war orphans." Flora shook her head for a moment, and his heart sank. "Geoffrey Metzger, You are the sweetest, kindest man I know. We have to get you the right gear. You have to get out there and save those orphans." For the next 6 months, Jeffrey Metzger was a cycling fool. On those weekends when social events beckoned for their attendance, Jeffrey had to train. Flora would go and brag about his dedication to the relief of war orphans. Sometimes even during the week when a dinner loomed or some gathering, Jeffrey had to ride like the wind. Actually, Jeffrey rode to the library. There was a favorite chair in the reading room that did not include Milton, and he would have 2 or 3 hours of uninterrupted quiet time. He could read or research topics of interest or just sit and think. When he returned home, he was able to fully enjoy Flora's reports of her day while her music played in the background. Even Milton's claws seemed less sharp. He had done it. Life was in balance, and he was truly, deeply in love with Flora Delaney. Everything was perfect. Until one Tuesday evening. He had just come back from a 2-hour training, which just happened to coincide with a wine and tapas gathering with Flora's HR group. When he entered, Flora was sitting at the little kitchen table, waiting for him. "I know your secret, Jeffrey Metzger. When were you going to own up? When were you going to be honest with me?" At that moment, he felt like an escaped convict trapped in the searchlight. "Flora, we have internet, you know. I looked up your 600-mile challenge for war orphans, and it doesn't exist." "Oh, well, I can explain." He reached hopelessly for some escape. "Well, you were going to organize this whole charity on your own, weren't you?" "Huh? What? Do you have any idea what it takes to create that kind of support that you need for something like this? I mean, you need sponsors, other participants, advertising, press coverage. In other words, you need me." "Oh, what? What?" Oh, this wasn't going the way he thought. She pulled out a folder which she was holding in her lap. "I worked it all out. The company will most likely be our first sponsor. They have lots of subsidiaries. I'll talk to the grants people tomorrow. I have friends there. And there's a press release all typed out, and I'm sure we can recruit a few participants from other departments. What do you think of contacting other charities? I'm sure they have all kinds of resources, and they could partner with us. This is so exciting. What a brilliant idea, Jeffrey, but you didn't really think this out. This is going to take lots of planning and other people." The phrase "other people" was ringing in his ears. "Flora!" He didn't mean to shout. "What?" She started at his tone and focused on him. Don't do that." "Oh, you're going to hate me." Jeffrey felt his world crumbling in that moment. But he had no choice but to come clean. "I would never hate you. I know you probably want to do this your way, but with me helping, I made it up. The whole thing. Of course, Jeffrey. That's why I know. I never planned to start a charity for war orphans. I don't train. I ride my bike to the library so that I can have a few hours of quiet time." Flora looked at him with confusion, twisting her face. What? "I just wanted not to have to be so public all the time. I didn't want to disappoint you, so I made it all up. I go to the library and read." Her eyes widened, and Flora was quiet for a full minute, absorbing what he said. "Oh, Jeffrey. I wasn't in a shell, Flora. That's just me. I lied to you. I'm sorry. I didn't want to lose you. But I guess I have." "Oh, Jeffrey. She clasped her hands together and lowered her head in what he knew was utter rejection. I know you love this apartment. Keep it. I guess I can find another place. So you'll leave. She didn't raise her head. It's the least I can do. I'm so stupid. It was right in front of me and I didn't see it. You just think I'm an idiot. Her tone was small and sad. No, you're the best, the brightest thing I had in my life. I just needed a little shade, I guess. Finally, Flora raised her head. There were tears in her eyes, but she was laughing, that wonderful laugh of hers. You, Jeffrey Metzger, are the real deal. Don't you dare leave me. You turned yourself inside out to please me, and now you want to leave? Absolutely not. You just tell me what you need, and I'm there. You want time to read? You got it. You want a garden? I'll help if you want me to. You want time to be quiet? I won't say a word. You changed for me. I can change for you. You are my man, Jeffrey. I'll never let you go. It scared him a little, her answer. It had a certain ferocity, but it was also a relief to know that she didn't hate him for his deception. Oh, well, I tell you what. We will curb our social calendar. Just one event per month. Oh, no, wait. We have Jim's party next week. But after that, I clear the decks, okay? Well, sure. No more than one or two things, say, every other week. Unless you want to. I mean, we won't push it. If you want, we could just maybe do a dinner a week or two. You just tell me and I will hold the line. As she bargained with herself, Jeffrey grinned at her determination. He realized he might still be in Macy's window, but now he could enjoy the view. I hope you enjoyed Life in Macy's Window. I can't help but wonder how things will go on from where we left off with Flora and Jeffrey. I certainly hope things work out for them. Next week, we'll be looking at a different kind of story. The story is called The Arrangement. It's often said that revenge is a dish best eaten cold. But is it a dish worth eating at all? And that's what we will explore. In the meantime, I hope you'll subscribe to our channel if you're new to our station, and press like, and perhaps follow us on Spotify or Apple. If you've been with us for a while, I'm so glad you were with us today. In the meantime, stay well, do good, and I'll see you then.